A very good morning, assalamu alaikum, and a very warm welcome to PTV World. I'm Fahim Bangush, and with me is...
Well, I'm joining an amazing co-anchor, Fahim Bangush, at the moment, and this is Hira Mustafa with you, and you're watching World This Morning. Good morning to all the viewers of World This Morning, and it's a lovely morning here in Islamabad. But despite the fact I, encountered a crazy traffic jam while
I was going to ask you about that.
Yeah, while I was on my way to work, but that's a habitual routine now. I'm immune to it now.
Well, the area that you come from, I mean, it's so traumatic.
Indeed it is.
It would be, because I don't come from that far off. So it's very traumatic when I have to face such heavy traffic. I come from a nearby area. It just takes me, 10 minutes to get to the office. And
well, I must say you're lucky then.
And even then I complain. I become a complete whiner whenever there is heavy traffic, especially at 4 o'clock or especially in the morning time. But anyway, enough about us. I hope everybody out there is enjoying their mornings, and definitely today, as always, our program is going to be as interesting as it is always. But first, according to our design of the program, we have the top stories for you, and let's see what they are for today. Well, in a major step for relief of the lower and middle income class, Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif has decided that the federal government would distribute wheat flour among 1 million residents of Islamabad free of charge during the holy month of Ramzan. And chairing a high-level meeting to discuss the measures for reducing the impact of inflation on the lower and middle income classes, the Prime Minister had said that the government is striving to minimize the difficulties being faced by the said income groups. Obviously, we know that the middle income class groups and the lower income class groups, they're suffering a lot because Pakistan is facing the worst inflation in the history of Pakistan. And of course, I think everybody out there is getting impacted by it. But of course, as they say, this too shall pass.
Indeed, and yes, now we will be moving towards anti-polio drives that are taking place across the country, and a polio vaccination campaign to immunize more than 21.54 million children under the age of 5 has begun, which is indeed a great step by the government of Pakistan. And the 5-day vaccination campaign is being held in 2 phases due to the concurring activities of the 7th National Census. And in the first phase, over 17.41 million children under the age of 5 in 13 districts of Punjab and 16 districts of Sindh and Islamabad will be vaccinated from 13th March to 17th of March. And I believe, Fahim, it's definitely a great initiative taken by the government of Pakistan, and our Prime Minister is always being very vocal about the issues that are being faced by the general population. And he's doing its best to facilitate the people of Pakistan.
And I think it's about time that Pakistan gets out of the polio virus phenomenon. Of course, it's one of the 2 countries of the world who still has polio. But of course, as I said, this too shall pass.
Indeed it will.
Yes. Now, the third top story that we have today is about cricket. Cricket, of course, we are a cricket-loving nation. Everybody is crazy about cricket. And the Pakistan Cricket Board has announced the national squad for the upcoming T20 series against Afghanistan, which is to be held in the United Arab Emirates later this month. The top players, including Babar Azam, Shaheen Shah Afridi, Mohammad Rizwan and Haris Rauf, have been given rest, as PCB gives a chance to youngsters who performed well in the recent edition of the Pakistan Super League. Also, the PCB chief selector Harun Rashid announced the squad that includes Shadab Khan as skipper, while the other players are Abdullah Shafiq, Azam Khan, Fahim Ashraf, Iftikhar Ahmed, Ehsanullah, Imad Wasim, Mohammad Haris, Mohammad Nawaz, Mohammad Wasim Jr., Naseem Shah, Saim Ayub, Shan Masood, Tayyib Tahir and Zaman Khan. This was the news about the cricket, and of course we know that the PSL is going on. Whom are you supporting, Hira, if I may ask?
Well, Fahim, before coming to that, I want to ask you, what do you think about this recent initiative, or I must say the new development taken by the Pakistan Cricket Board, giving rest to Shaheen Shah Afridi, Babar Azam and Mohammad Rizwan and Haris Rauf? What do you think about that?
I think it's a great step, because definitely if you overwork them, whenever I've had a talk with Leena Moeen-Aziz, as you know, she's the only female cricket commentator. She has always said that rest is very important. If you overwork them, you're actually doing more damage than good.
Wonderful. Well, I think that's indeed a great initiative, and we need to give, more chance to the emerging players. And we have seen that PSL 8 edition is the most anticipated event of the country, and where people are actually, putting their effort and giving their time in supporting their favorite team. So if I talk about myself, I'm rooting for Islamabad United at the moment, and I'm hoping that they will be having final between them and also with Lahore Qalandars, who are defending their title at the moment.
Also, Hira, being a cricket fan yourself, I mean, the people were talking a lot about Azam Khan, especially regarding the fitness, especially regarding his performance. But Azam Khan, I think he proved his mettle. I think
Indeed,
the way he played, the way he showed what he's capable of.
The spectacular innings we have witnessed in the last few matches, it's amazing, it's commendable. And I believe that Azam Khan was under the radar before because the critics were always there criticizing his performance when it comes to his weight also.
Of course, because fitness, they say, is very important. But as I was talking to one of the cricket analysts, they were like, it comes later. It's secondary, because we've had the likes of Inzamam ul Haq in the past as well, and he is one of the batters in Pakistan cricket's history who's made us win several matches. And I think with the likes of Inzamam ul Haq, and now we have Azam Khan, I think he's going to do wonders for Pakistani cricket team, because obviously he's shown us what he's made up of.
Yes, that's definitely a great addition to the Pakistan cricket team. But having said that, we have been joined by an amazing, lady inside the studios at the Sets of World this morning. And we will be talking to her about women in journalism. So let's welcome Naila Shuja.
It's a pleasure to be here.
Naila, it's a pleasure and to meet you, because I had heard about you. We still hadn't met, but it's a wonderful addition, I must say, to PTV World that you're now coming here as a journalist, as a news anchor. Good to have you. Now, first of all, I would like to ask you, because obviously Hira is working, we have so many other females who are working in the channel. Being in the media field, what do you think are the biggest challenges if you start counting?
Where do I start? There's so many. So I think there are challenges everywhere you go, right? So first and foremostly, if you do want to enter the field of journalism or broadcast media, you do have to realize that you will become a public figure. So no matter what you do, no matter where you sit, you always have to be, 100%, and you have to be presentable. You have to speak eloquently. You have to, give your duties justice. So the next I think I would like to add is primarily the environment. You have to really push yourself and make sure that you get yourself out there and are able to refine your skills in a way that people can know you for your skill set and not for anything else. And I think the third and last thing I would like to mention is just an overall sense of, self-motivation and direction. It's very important to have that. There's so many people giving you so many opinions about how you should act, how you should behave, how you should. 10 million, people will have 10 million opinions, right? So it's just better to focus on, your supervisor and what they're telling you and how you need to become the best journalist in your field that you possibly can.
Well,
all right.
Well, she rightly pointed out that the women who are actually pursuing their careers in journalism field, they actually come across different hurdles, and you do have to maintain your dignity also and your composure also, and you have to be diplomatic and you have to be very, wise when it comes to certain opinions. But having said that, Naila, I want to ask you, how did your journey started, and was your family supportive when it comes to, if you were thinking that you have to pursue a certain career, talking about the showbiz industry or the media industry, what was the opinion of your parents? Were they supportive?
That's an excellent question. So I would just like to say that my family has been extremely supportive. My whole family is just, I think, the reason why I'm here. They've pushed me, they've helped me, they've guided me, they've just literally held my hand throughout the highs and lows, and it's just been great. But yeah, so the thing is that it's important to kind of really understand why you want to come into this field. It shouldn't be about the glitz and glam. You shouldn't focus on, oh, I'm going to become famous or I'll become an influencer. It's actually more about work. It's more about providing, unbiased,
The content.
yeah, the content, the authenticity of the actual news story. So
But
yeah.
these days that it's more likely people are having an approach to be to get an overnight fame, which I believe is not a good
That's
ideology.
certainly not a good ideology, not a good
agree.
philosophy, because the sooner you come, the sooner you leave.
Exactly. Yeah.
No, so and Naila, you're part of PTV World now. How has the experience been so far? And of course, proper auditions had taken place because we had heard, okay, so someone called Naila is going to join in, and I was looking forward. Okay, I need to listen to this lady, a woman, girl.
Yeah.
Okay, it's so confusing what to say. You call
Yeah.
somebody a woman. You think I'm a woman? I'm a girl.
I mean, I am a woman, so I'm okay
working
with that.
woman.
Yeah, a working
A
woman.
working woman. All
Yeah,
right,
strong,
all right.
independent woman. I like that. But yeah, of course, there was a whole procedure that I had to go through. I had to, basically come back to my original, broadcast self, because I ended up taking a little bit of time off to complete my master's degree.
Uh-huh.
And after that, I came back and, jumping through all the hoops again. It was, to be very honest, it was a lot of fun, because getting back in front of the camera really does it sets my soul on fire. It ignites a fire in my heart, and it's something that I really enjoy. I love being able to talk to
So
people.
you recharge your batteries again to be on screen, to give your
Exactly.
best shot, and to be the same Nala Shuja as she was a year ago. So coming back to you, Nala, again, we are talking about the struggles of women in the field of journalism. So we see, Fahim, that there is a lot of workplace harassment when it comes to the journalist also. So how do you see that, and how do you manage that?
Okay, so personally, I have been very lucky. I have not faced workplace harassment. But again, it's all about the way that you conduct yourself in the office. I'm not saying anyone is asking for it or they deserve it. That's
Right.
not what I'm saying at all. It is just that if you feel uncomfortable in a certain environment, I think it is very important to inform the most superior person that is in the hierarchy, if there is a hierarchy involved. And then I also believe that there is a way to deal with the situation respectfully. Again, because you are a public figure, you do have an image to maintain. There's so many aspects involved in being a journalist and, in the world. There's just the way you look, the way you talk, the way you speak, who you talk to, how you talk to. Everything is analyzed.
You're in the
right?
limelight, I must
Yeah.
say.
And
Basically.
also, Naila, especially if we talk about today's world, we're talking about a cyber world, right?
Yeah.
Everybody's there, everybody's a part of it. So each and every word that you utter or you type is scrutinized, is analyzed, and especially when it comes to females. I mean, all the mouths are open,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
You can have any kinds of comments. Have you ever had any such experience in your overall lifetime?
Yes, so I would like to agree with you first and foremost that everything, I think irrespective of, male or female, if you put it on the internet, it is there forever. It is, even after you're gone, 10 years from now, someone will be able to dig it up and just, put it out there in the world for the situation to start again, the chaos, the clout to, form again. But yeah, it has happened. It hasn't been a fun journey. There have been moments where things were taken out of context and people have tried to, misconstrue certain situations and try to, again, put the blame game or he said, she said sort of situation. But then again, it's my, firm belief that if you do feel like you have a problem with someone, it's better to just directly confront them or talk to them. Again, be respectful, be nice, but also just have that one-on-one, heart-to-heart conversation and just get it out there. Life is too short to, hold
Right.
grudges.
Nala, you pointed out rightly that we have to go to a certain person if we are facing, certain kind of situation which we are not comfortable with that person, so we can actually talk and have a heart-to-heart conversation. But let's quickly, I want to ask you one more thing, that people who are looking up to you at the moment, the youngsters who want to, and especially the women who want to pursue their career in the field of journalism, what do you have to say about that?
Don't give up. Push, 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 push. It doesn't matter. I am a mom as well. I have a home life. I am, doing online courses. I'm doing everything. But again, it is my dream, it is my passion, it is something that I believe in, and if something brings you joy, just go for it. Just
Okay, now that
do
you've
your
spoken
best.
about motherhood, we have more questions. But first of all, we need to take a short break. You stay tuned to PTV World. We'll be right back. Welcome back to World This Morning, another very exciting episode. We have Naila Shuja with us in the studios who's talking to us right now. Naila, you mentioned something really interesting, that you are also a mother. Now, that increases the challenges many-fold, especially when it comes to females, because obviously my wife's a doctor. She has to look, they take care of the hospital, the children in the hospital, our child, me. They say husbands are also children.
I won't disagree.
Well, I'm not saying I'm a child.
I
I'm
know,
saying they say.
Yeah, they say.
So how difficult is it, and how old is your child? Because it's, I would say it's a full-time job.
Oh yes,
Looking after a child.
Yeah, I could not agree more. So my son is around 1 year and 2 months approximately now. So it is a struggle, I won't lie, but I have the greatest support. I have, my family and then my husband's family. They're just so supportive.
That has to be there.
That has to be there, and that is there, and that's, I think, one of my biggest blessings in life these days, that I have such a good support system. Because again, if you don't have the right support system, you can never truly flourish and be, your 100% authentic self. And I believe that when I'm here, in the studio, I am my 100%, authentic self.
All right. Well, my son is about 7, and let's look forward to the terrible twos, as they say.
Oh my gosh, I've heard a great deal about it. Yes, I'm very excited, she said with a straight face.
Right. So you tell me you have a 1-year-old. I would still call him a 1-year-old. Yes. How traumatic is it when he wakes up during the night?
So
and then you have to come in for work the next day.
Yes, it is. Again, I think there is a little bit of something in motherhood that just pushes you to be, on point 24/7, and you just have to do it. Because again, my son is my life, but this is also my life, and I can't have, I am an individual. I do have my, dreams and aspirations, but I also want to be a good role model for him. So I want him to see that, yes, women have been doing it all, since the beginning of time. Women are doing it now. You can manage both, or all three, or all four, or whatever you have going on in your life. It is important to make sure that you are the best role model for your child. So I feel like I'm trying to live up to that role right now.
So you're maintaining a balance between your family life and also the work life, which all the working women do.
Yes.
And definitely it gets very tiring, Nala, at the same time, maintaining the work life, because you have different kind of work pressures, you have a different kind of responsibilities. And on the other hand, you also have a home life where you have to maintain everything and you have to be at your forefront. So does it get a little challenging for you to manage both the things?
I will be very honest, Ahira, yes, it does. It does get very challenging at times. But sometimes you just have to push through, because that is life. And you just have to, put your big boots on and just walk through. Because at the end of the day, you are doing this for yourself, your family, for your child. And again, coming back to what I said previously, you want to be a good role model, not just for your child, but for all the young women or women who want to come into this field of broadcasting and media and journalism.
You want to set precedents for them.
Exactly.
Yes, that's quite true.
So they have someone to look up to, and someone who can fit into their mold. Again, influencers, like you mentioned previously, come and go. The quicker you rise, the quicker you fall. So there needs to be substantial growth, or gradual growth in an industry in which you can actually make a name for yourself, not just a temporary name, but a name that is well respected and well known, and gives you pride when you walk. Your shoulders are relaxed and you're not looking back and forth. Oh, this person might judge me because of the work that you're doing. But again, it's just important to have that sort of balance again. Yeah.
Right. Well, Fahim, as we were talking about cyber, that it's a cyber world, and we all are using social media handles now. So Fahim actually asked you about that, but having said that, I want to come back to you again on that note, that because there are a lot of trolls taking place at the moment, and people or individuals are actually being attacked and being trolled. So have you ever encountered any such incident, and how do you actually deal with that? Because I know most of the women who are looking to you at the moment, they might be looking for the answers which they never asked, but I am their representative at the moment, representing the women out there. So I want to take this opportunity and ask you this question.
Okay, I feel
Of
like
course.
a minority here.
Well, you should not, Fahim.
So that is a good question. Personally, again, people have opinions. People will say, oh, look at her hair, look at her eyes, look at her face, look at her skin, look at this, look at that, look at her clothes. It's, again, you have to develop a very thick skin if you are working in this industry, right? So you have to make sure that it doesn't matter, as long as you are doing you and you are being yourself, and you are able to get the message across to the audience, what you're actually trying to deliver. I think that's all that matters.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, Naila, wonderful talking to you. But right now we have to take a short break. Stay tuned to BTV World. We will be right back with World This Morning. But before we go on to the break, Naila, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you so
Thank
much
you for
for
your
having
time. Definitely, we will be bringing you in the future as well, because obviously we need precedents and examples of Iron Ladies, and to show the world that we have strong women with us. So we'll be right back. Stay tuned to BTV World. Welcome back to World This Morning. I'm Fahim Mangash, and with me is Hira Mustafa. Of course, we're talking about entrepreneurship. We're talking about youth now. That's going to be our second segment of the program. And for that, we have a guest in the studio, Haseeb Kyani Saab. Haseeb Kyani Saab, welcome to BTV World and World This Morning, and a very good morning.
Thank you so much, and very good morning to all of you.
Very good morning to you
And
too,
thank
sir.
you so much for inviting me for this very important topic and very wonderful show of yours.
It's a
Thank you.
pleasure, sir. It's a pleasure, because we need people like you who influence others. We need people like you who motivate others. Definitely, considering the fact that Pakistan has such a great population of young people, people need to listen to people like you, so that perhaps they could do something meaningful with their lives. Now, of course, starting off because we're talking about the youth, because we're
Right.
talking about entrepreneurship. Now, what is the scope of entrepreneurship in Pakistan? Because obviously I know you've been talking about it, you've been interacting with the young people out there. So on our platform as well, we want to ask you and interact with you so that other people can listen to us who are in other countries as well. What is the scope of this particular field, entrepreneurship, if we say, as far as the young people are concerned?
Okay, thank you so much, Fahim. This is actually very, very important question that you are asking. The scope is actually very huge, but I would like to just give you a vision
Outline,
of
yes.
that scope. Actually, the topic is very huge, and the time is very short, so we have
Right.
to cover so many things in a very quick manner. So, first of all, we have to see who we are, like Pakistan.
Uh-huh.
We are the 6th largest populated country of the world, 5th largest country of the world. We are about 230 million plus people living in this country.
Right.
So we are very big in population. and population means market.
Market, yes.
Big population, that means big market. So if we can look the daily routine of these 240 or 230 million people, what they do in their daily routine, like early in the morning they get up, they use washroom. For a washroom, you need a soap, you need a water, you need a washroom itself, you need so many things, you need towel, etc., etc. So after that, you do breakfast. So in a breakfast, what are the requirements of these 230 million peoples? Like they need tea,
Right.
they need bread, and only for tea, you need sugar, you
Right.
need milk, you need water, you need stove, you need gas, you need utensils, you need cup itself, 240 million cups every morning. So then 240 million breads, and there are so many other things. So if you see the scope is very huge because the population is very huge. So I can tell you, if anybody, if any young person, if they want to only supply milk to a colony, to a building like in Karachi or in Islamabad and everywhere, believe me, they will not be able to even fulfill the requirement of milk in that area. They will require to hire so many other people to help them.
Oh,
So
absolutely.
what's
They
the
will create-
easiest way to cope up with this entrepreneurship idea? Because most of the population of Pakistan is youth, and youngsters are looking forward to go for their own startups. So what strategy do you have at the moment?
Look, first of all, we have to see and we have to actually understand the youth is the only solution, and youth development is the only solution of this country's economic condition. That is the only solution. You cannot ignore them.
Right.
If you will ignore them, there would be a disaster. You cannot actually rise the Pakistan and the economic situation. So the only youth, before going to your question, I would like to again visualize the scope. Like we have 160 million plus youth in the country.
Right.
That is more than 150 countries population of the world. 150 countries population is less than 165 million of population. So youth is very important for the economic condition and for the economic
Development of the
of the
country,
country.
yes.
So now the next important thing is like what they should do, what the youth do, what the other stakeholders need to do for the development of the country. So in my opinion, what I have realized that there are only 3 stakeholders in the country who are in the favor of the development of youth. Only 3. The rest of the stakeholders, they are competitors. They are pulling you back, they are creating hurdles and things like that. They can be favorable in some other way, but actually they are your competitors. So there are only 3 stakeholders who are actually supposed to support you. So number 1 is parents. So parents' role is very, very important in the development of youth, in the entrepreneurship, for everything, because youth is the main population. The second thing is the teaching community. The teaching community and the youth, and the third stakeholder is actually the state,
Right.
the government. So these are the 3 stakeholders, and I can explain you further, when what they need to do, what these stakeholders need to do for the development of the youth.
Right, since you actually pointed out there are 3 main people who actually play a very important role in helping out people or the students who are looking forward to the entrepreneurship programs. Having said that, coming back to you with that, that parents play a very important role when it comes to the teachers and also the state. So when most of the youth, or I must say youngsters, are actually graduating every 6 months, what strategy they should opt if they want to start their own startups, because they also have fear deep down that if they will be successful in pulling out this startup project which they are working on at the moment?
Because we do study in universities, the higher the risk, the higher the return.
Right.
But then there are the majority of the people, they're not ready to take risks. How do you motivate the youth bulge who's present in the country that they should go ahead and take risks in life?
Okay, first thing is that the more the risk and the higher is the risk, the success would be a higher
Yeah.
level. So the thing is like without risk, there is no success. Number one, but for the risk is not only just you go into the market and whatever you have, and if you have some money giving from your parents and you spend that money just here and there and saying, yeah, I'm doing entrepreneurship, that would not work actually.
You can't invest without research, perhaps. I think that's
So first of all, I would say the mentors are very important.
true.
So you
true,
find a
true.
mentor for that. Number one, the mentor who can actually guide you what to do, what not to do. Research is very important. See the successful people, but not only to successful people, also see the people who are not successful, because you will learn from the failures as well. So if you will learn from both.
As failure is the
both
first
parts.
step towards the success, I must
Exactly,
say.
exactly. So that is very important. But for the youth, I would like to say there are 5 things that a young person need to do
Right.
for the entrepreneurship. Number one, hard work. There is no success in the world without hard work.
And no shortcuts.
And
yeah,
also
of
the
course.
determination. You have to be consistent with whatever goal you have.
Yeah, exactly. The second thing is consistency. But the one very important thing is the hard work. Do not go for the shortcuts. Shortcuts are for a timely jump or something to attract somebody for a
You're
timely
right.
manner. But that would not be sustainable things. So first thing is the hard work. The second thing is the consistency. That is very, very important. You have to be consistent. Not doing this work and then doing this work and then get fed up with so quickly in that doing so many things. Number 3 things is the learning attitude. Learn from the country, learn from the people, learn from the from your elders, learn from your youngsters, and the learning attitude is very important.
Also, yeah, please.
The other thing is like practice yourself. So not only thinking good is not important, but be practical. Be practical into the things, and
Keeping in mind the rational approach.
Yeah, exactly. And go into the market, research, learn from the seniors, learn from the juniors, and then go on. So these are the main factors that a young person, while doing entrepreneurship, they should keep that in mind. Not only in mind, but keep that in practice in their
Gani
own
sir,
field.
another question that rises in the mind, especially as far as I'm concerned, because I've taught people as well. When people start off with something, let's say a startup for that matter, in today's world, be it digital or otherwise, what they do is they're really motivated, they do plan on working really hard, they do plan on persevering, but then on the other hand, at the same time, they look at somebody else and see, okay, this was his time period. Okay, so 6 months was the time that he took in becoming something big. And he also sustained it after 6 months. So how do you make young people understand that the timeline is different for everyone? You can't just compare yourself with other people and just say, this should be my timeline, and I should be this successful by this age, right? So how do you tell them, how do you motivate them as far as this is concerned?
Look, normally what we do is like we copy others.
Exactly.
We copy and we give examples of like only Bill Gates or some people like that. But the thing is like they are only, Bill Gates is only one.
Yeah.
Nobody and no, everybody cannot be like a Bill Gates, but they try to find out the other ways.
Right.
What are their interests? What are their
Habits, for that matter,
habits?
yes.
What are their capabilities? So the important thing is, like, you choose the business, you choose the entrepreneurship that you actually like. Number second is, like, understand the in core of that business. Do
Right.
not be only superficial. So that's a issue in our youth, that they are more like superficial communication, superficial talking, similar kind of words, and just saying, and don't understand them actually, what actually they are saying. So important thing is, what the interest you have a complete grip on that. If you don't have a grip on that, there would be no successful.
Since you already mentioned that we have to keep certain agendas in the mind when we are looking forward for the entrepreneurship, or we are going to start our own startups, and I must say women are also progressing in this field of entrepreneurship. How do you see that? And also, what role the state can play at the moment? If you talk about the government, how can they motivate the youngsters in coming up with their own ideas, like to start their own businesses? Because I believe that it does have an impact on the economy, and how beneficial it is to sustain the economy of the country.
Like, very important question. But I can tell you, like, the government and the state role is very important in entrepreneurship. Number one, the fundamental, you can say, the responsibility of a state is to provide equal opportunity to the citizens.
Right.
Equal opportunity. So very important point. The second thing is justice. If there is a justice in the country, the people will grow, and they will, they will develop themselves. Number three is open and facilitate for the new businesses. Unfortunately, in our country, the government institutions, they are not facilitators. Whether they create hurdles, like no objection certificates,
Exactly.
centers and registration matters,
Yes.
and make that so simple. Facilitate your youth to do something. Doing something is more important. So the state should encourage the youth by facilitating them, creating them enabling environment, so that they can exercise their skills.
But I believe, Fahim, that the government of Pakistan is now very much active to facilitate the youth in terms of businesses. So that you rightly pointed out that government needs to make simple the process of this entrepreneurship.
And you're right, Hajra, and maybe, sir, maybe it's not going to happen overnight. Perhaps the government is taking baby steps towards removing all the bottlenecks. Don't you think so?
Actually, when we try to escape from these things, so we say we have to take little steps. No, if you have to take the step, you have to take that immediately.
Right.
And that will impact actually in the society. There is only one long-term solution, and that is a facilitated, refined education system. That is only the long-term solution. Otherwise, there are no long-term solutions. There are short-term solutions. You make the simple registration processes for the entrepreneurship. There should be no objection certificates. Even there is a huge hiccups while if you are doing something online and you have to receive money from a foreign country. That's a big issue in Pakistan.
Yes.
So you cannot receive that money.
I would agree.
Why the
Yes.
government don't find solutions, easy solutions for the people? If you are doing something, you can get money from any country outside in the world.
But that's a hassle
So-
being faced by the youngsters.
So exactly. So even the example of like this cream taxi in Pakistan. So in the beginning, there are cases in the courts, and there was so many hurdles for the people, only just driving a taxi, because the state was not ready, the government was not ready to accept a new business, a new entrepreneurship. And a time will come, there will be so many other businesses like that. So the state, the government should be ready to tackle that. So they should be ready to help them, ready to facilitate them for the new businesses.
And I think this step of the government is going to motivate the younger lot. Maybe
Sure.
it's going to double their motivation, perhaps.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly.
So yes, I think, Hira, this is the need of the hour, and like you very rightly mentioned, that the government is also doing what it can, and slowly and gradually it's happening. But I would also agree with Kyani Saab, where he said that I think to improve the economy and to make an actual impact, I think the steps have to be taken immediately. Of course, they might not have an overnight impact, but it would have an impact at least sooner, as opposed to if the government still has all the bottlenecks, if the government still is taking baby steps. Proper steps need to be taken instead of baby steps. Don't you think so, Hira?
I agree with him, but Fahim, I have seen an immense growth of people, investing in their own businesses and starting their own startups. And if you talk about women, they're also, running their own startups, and they're working from home, and they are at a huge success rate of women pursuing their careers in startup suites. So Mr. Kyani, coming back to you again, that since we are talking about the women entrepreneurship, and Fahim also highlighted it, that the government is taking baby steps at the moment. So what kind of facilities do you think women need at the moment in order to pursue their dreams of careers?
Look, there are some things that actually the time actually teach you. So this is this era actually teaching you that the woman has to work in any case, whether you like it or not.
Right.
In a coming time, there will be more women working in the field.
Right.
So there is no other option.
Right.
So number one thing. The second thing is very, very important, and that depends actually to the parents. Normally in our society, the parents are more worried about the economic future of their children, and they do everything, and they try to do everything for their children just to save some money for their future. I can tell you, if your children are hardworking, they are good citizens,
Right.
they are good people, why
Your
you are saving
emphasis
for
is
them?
on good citizens at the moment.
Yeah.
I must say that.
Why you
So-
are saving for them? And if they are not hardworking, they are not good citizens, why you are saving for them? So saving for the children is not only important. The most important thing is the character building.
That's true.
Right.
If you build the character of your children, you will have no worries for their future. Whether they are women and men, they are girls and boys, no matter. If you have built their character, they will be a good citizen, they will be a good family man, they will be good family woman actually,
Yeah.
and then you will have no worries.
Right.
So actually this responsibility depends to the parents.
True.
If they
That's
have
true.
built the characters, why they are worried?
And Kyani Saab, you were very right when we started off with the discussion that this is a huge topic, and it's such a pity that we have short time. Otherwise, I still have a lot of questions that I would like to ask, and I'm sure the people who are watching, even they have a lot of questions. But in the end, a conclusion message that you'd like to all the people, all the youngsters who are watching you right now.
Actually, I have given that message, that what the youth has to do. But the important thing is for the youth is to be respectful, don't find shortcuts, be consistent, and be hard work. Hard work is the key for everything, for every success. So I'm very actually hopeful for the future, because actually the time that going on at this era is, hard work is the only solution.
It's the only solution.
Otherwise, there is no other solution.
You're very right, Kyani Saab. Thank you very much for taking up time and coming here to the studios and talking to us. It's an absolute pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Well, this was today's episode of World This Morning. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope you learned something from Kyani Saab, of course, and we had Naila in the beginning. I hope you learned something or the other from her as well. And definitely we're going to keep on bringing you more guests, more people who will be a source of motivation for you, a source of knowledge for you, a source of information for you.
And at the end, Fahim, I just want to add that hard work is the only key to the success.
Absolutely.
So be very passionate about whatever goal you have in the life and be respectful towards others.
Absolutely. Well, with this, we conclude our program. I hope you have a wonderful day ahead. Enjoy yourselves and Allah Hafiz.